Hello, everyone. This is Kim Hayworth from Good News Daily, and today I'm chatting with Emily Lafrance. And
Um,
she is a chiropractor, and I'm so glad that she has joined us today. And we're going to be chatting about grounding. We're finishing up our series about the benefits of being in nature, and this is such an important one. And we wanted to take some time to make a video just for this. So, welcome, Emily. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Kim. Yeah, this is
Sure.
a topic that we've been geeking out on,
I know.
getting out and getting our feet on the earth. So I'm excited that we get to make time to talk about it more.
Absolutely. And it was one of the things that I was drawn to um, many, many years ago when I first started my healing journey. And one of the decisions I made when I was really sick was to stop treatment and go up to Lake Tahoe. And I put my feet on the sand and I just sat there.
Mm.
And I could finally feel clarity, guidance, direction, peace in my system where there was so much stress and chaos and um, the unknowing of what to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I really didn't know what to do. And that really gave me some clarity. And I started feeling better, you know? And I didn't know anything about grounding. I just was drawn and followed my intuition. This is where I'm going, and I'm sitting myself down here.
Yeah. Mhm.
And when I started reading about the benefits of this is one of the first books I read. It was called Earthing. It talks about our connection to the earth, our bare feet connected to the earth, especially on like things that have moisture in it, like sand. It offers an even deeper connection. And there's something to this, there really is. And what's one of the most chronic issues that people are having in their physical bodies right now? Inflammation. Inflammation. And what are we missing? The connection to the earth. Our shoes, do not have connective materials made out of most of them. So we're walking around not even connecting. And just the fact alone that it starts to lower inflammation in our body, things start to come back online the way our bodies were originally intended to have that connection to the earth. And if you think about, the original tribes and things, they walked around in either bare feet, leather sandals, or moccasins, right?
Yeah.
They knew about this connection to the earth and how important it was. When they got stressed out, they, sat in the sun
Mm.
and they sat directly on the earth. When they were walking everywhere, they were connecting, you know, pumping up their electrical system, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as you were sharing with me the other day, even our lymph system is in the bottoms of our feet,
Mhm.
and that helps pump the lymph fluid through our system even as we're walking. And in acupuncture, we have that K1, that very important point it's basically at the base of our foot, right? At the
Mhm.
sole.
Yes.
And that is one of the ones that gets the most activated.
Mhm.
So what has your experience been with grounding, Emily?
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about that this morning, and I was bringing me all the way back to my childhood because I feel like a lot of us did have barefoot childhoods, right? We were
Yeah.
outside running around barefoot and then right we start wearing shoes, and as you were just saying, all the shoes, most of the shoes have plastic or rubber
Yeah.
soles, so they're insulating us, keeping us from getting that charge from the earth. But as long as I can remember, I did not like wearing closed-toed shoes. So if I could at least get my feet in sandals, I felt like I was more free. And that was just an intuitive piece there.
Yeah.
And then my journey brought me to a chiropractic school in Georgia. And as I was there completing my undergrad doing biology, I remember seeing chiropractic students in between classes coming out on like the little grassy quad, and they'd all be barefoot, feet on the earth. And I remember thinking, okay, these people have something going on because I want to go do that. But I felt kind of funny, like,
Hmm.
okay, it's fine. Just take off your, in between classes, take off your shoes, go get in the grass. And I remember people telling me this is called earthing or grounding. And that was about the extent of it. And I just knew it made sense. I was like, okay, yes. At that point, a friend had shared with me the shoes called Earth Runners. Have you heard of those?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. So I got myself a pair of those. And what's really cool about those is that they have that copper plate in there, and
Hmm.
copper is conductive. So then it still allows our bodies to receive those beautiful electrons, right? So I
Hmm.
started wearing those and being out in nature, but really not giving it like too much more thought. And it wasn't until after chiropractic school when I discovered Clint Ober's book that you had just shared in the beginning,
Hmm.
Earthing, and really starting to read it and really learning about resourcing my body after going through, I dealt with Lyme and mold, and we've
Hmm.
talked about this before, just chronic illness, right? So chronic
Yeah.
inflammation. And it wasn't until for me reading and really understanding it in that intellectual way, it made that sense like of soul, mind, body. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. And I really started to spend a lot more time bare feet, out on the earth, getting my solar panel, our bodies out in the sun,
Yeah.
and really recharging and resourcing. And I feel like that part of like us having more charge in our bodies really correlates to our capacity as humans.
Mm.
So that's been something that I've been really feeling and integrating and playing around with and having a good time while doing it, because who doesn't love being out in nature, right? I think we all know intuitively, yes, going out in nature makes us feel good. Even me with two little kiddos, my toddler's having a meltdown, a tantrum. What do? I'm like, we just need to get outside.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
got to get you outside and help regulate our bodies, right? Our nervous
Yeah.
systems, because a lot of us, and I'm sure we'll dive deeper into this, but we just have that inflammation, and we're running on cortisol, and we don't have that like charge from the earth. We're not plugged in. So it's been huge for me on my journey. And really, now that I've been spending more time going out there and being in nature, and my thing recently being in the spring, and we have a river close to us, is putting my feet right in the river with my kiddos. And it's cold now, because we
Yeah.
have mountain water.
Yeah.
But my kids love it too, even with it being really cold. And I think there's something to having more charge and more activation when
Yeah.
there's water, running
Yeah.
water flowing over rocks and getting minerals in it and connected to the earth. Like you can feel that tingling, that charge like coming
Mhm.
up through your feet. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. When there is that water, it acts as a even what's the right word? A better connector almost.
Yeah. It like
Conductor,
amplifies.
conductor. That's the word. A
Yes.
better conductor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you notice a difference, like you were saying with your toddler when he's,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Totally. And it's interesting because sometimes there will be that resistance of like, I don't want to go outside. It's colder. It's this or that. And once I get him out there, it's like, I can't get him back inside.
Yeah, he forgets all about it,
He
right?
forgets all about it. And right now we're dealing with, some rainy spring weather, and
Yeah.
he loves the rain, and he'll literally want to go out there just like naked or with minimal clothes on. And
Wow.
I know, and we know too, right? It's just that like
Yeah.
remembering of what we've forgotten, of just being like, oh
Yes.
yeah, like going out and like putting our feet in the river and taking our shoes off for a moment. Like I think it's something we all want to do when we see kids doing it. We're like, oh, there's that playful, that joy, that fun, right? I want to go like be a part of that, but like, oh, I shouldn't, right? Like I'm an adult,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it really like I think brings that part of us alive of like feeling just like activated and playful.
Yes, it does that too, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we forget, right? We
Yeah.
forget when
Yeah.
we get all grown up and forget what it's like to be
Mhm.
a kid and just enjoy the things that we instinctively know
Yeah.
are the best for us.
Right.
And how many kids are just sitting on the sofa playing video games and rarely get outside and
Right.
Yeah, and what that sets up for the rest of their life, you
Yeah.
know. And it could just be as easy as going outside to play. And
Hmm.
when I grew up, that's what I did.
Yeah.
If the weather was okay, that's where I was. I was outside sitting in the dirt, playing with
Hmm.
cars or Barbies or you name it, I was playing.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. And, one of the things that I learned from this book is that it also affects our system to the level of the DNA. It
Hmm.
can really affect, if you consider epigenetics, it can really affect our bodies to that level, which is incredible to me. But if you think of our system as being electrical, which it is, right?
Right.
Especially things like our heart.
Right.
They even have specialized cardiologists that just deal with the electrical function of your heart. It has
Mhm.
its own little computer, you
Amazing.
know. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing. Yeah.
And our brains and our
Yeah.
gut,
Right.
right? All those things
Hmm.
um, are electrical. And to me, it seems like our systems come back to its original intent.
Yes.
When it has that connection with the earth, it's like, oh, this is how I function. Now I remember, right?
Yes. We're turned back online. That's how I
Yes.
feel like, it's amazing. I kind of think of it like our bodies. I feel like the earth is like this giant battery. It has all this charge, and that
Yeah.
we're almost like the little rechargeable batteries. Remember, we used to have those and then plug them into the wall to recharge them. I feel like that's
Yes.
that's the visual I get when I think of us putting our feet on the earth and connecting with the earth's charge again. Is like, oh, recharge.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
a great example.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling crummy, if you're feeling off balance, if you're feeling depleted and tired, what an easy thing to do, right? If this was in a pill, we'd all be taking the magic pill.
Mhm. Yes.
And we
Yeah.
spend whatever amount of money it was costing, but
Yeah.
it's free. And, go outside, spend some time, connect your feet to the earth.
Mhm.
So, if you're unable to do that, which I get, I mean, some people physically cannot do that. There are some people that live in big cities and spend a lot of time in skyscrapers and have an apartment how many stories up, and I get that. So there's different ways that you can also add that grounding benefit besides going outside.
Mhm.
And one of those well, there's many different products that you can purchase, but the one that I love, and I think Emily uses too, is a grounding mat.
Yes.
Yes. And so you just plug this into your electrical system. If your house or business is grounded, it immediately connects to that. And if it's not, they have grounding rods that you can put outside to ground it.
Mhm.
Um, but basically, you put your bare feet on that and, watch TV, do your work, and there's also sheets and different things you can use for your bed. There's socks and all kinds of different things. There's electrical patches, and so there are other options if you're unable to get outside or if you have a busy day inside that you can use. And Emily, you use that when you're working with clients sometimes too. And I've noticed other practitioners doing that. Do you notice a benefit from doing that?
Yeah, definitely. We have
Yeah.
one right now, so I just
Are you? Me
have this
too.
mat. Yep. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm gonna stay grounded. Yeah, we have this little mat that, like Kim was saying, just plugs into that third little grounded prong there in your outlet, and it's so easy. You can travel with it. You can fold it up and bring it with you. I also have the sheets, which I love, and then the Earth Runner shoes, like I had
Mhm.
mentioned. If you're somewhere where you have to have shoes on, but you're still on the earth. That's a great way. I'm sure there's other
Yeah.
shoes out there. Those are just the ones that I've been using and have loved.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's just simple tools. If you can't get out and put your feet directly on the earth, there's different ways that you can bring it to you, which is pretty amazing. And again, like we were saying earlier, we spend our whole days really insulated from the earth. We wake up, we're inside, go to work, typically inside.
Yeah.
Even I think of with kids doing, we're just looking at doing soccer with my son and it's on plastic turf. It's not real grass
Yeah.
anymore. Everything is plastic and insulated. The playgrounds now are plastic. There's some that are still mulch, but a lot of the ones I found around here, we're in a hotter climate, that they'll put on this kind of like plastic, recycled plastic
Mhm.
for the ground. And you're like, wow, even when they're on the playground, like they're not connected to the earth.
Mm. Mm.
So just having these simple tools, when my kiddos are hanging out, whether we're having dinner or if we're on the couch, like I just bring this mat, put it right under them. Again, an easy way, that you can just remain grounded while you're still indoors. I think it's amazing.
That's a great idea when they're
Yeah.
just, yeah, watching something on TV or eating. That's a great
Hmm.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring the mat around the house.
I love that.
And I've been looking into to see if there was grounding dog beds as well, because something I
Oh,
found really fascinating and again makes sense reading Clint Ober's book
yeah.
was he was saying domestic animals are sicker than ever because what are they
Yeah.
doing? They're spending all day inside. And
Yes.
when the sun comes through the window, our cats, our dogs, our animals are going to
Yep.
find every little sliver of sun. Like they want to be close to the earth. They want to be connected,
Yep.
and we don't really give them the opportunity because we have busy lives or they're indoor pets, whatever it is.
Hmm.
So that's something else. My dog will lay on my mat as well, but I've been looking into trying
Hmm.
to get her like a grounding bed because they also will have that chronic low-lying inflammation, that accumulates over time if they're not able to get outside and get their paws on the earth and connect and ground.
That is very true. Yeah,
Hmm.
I wasn't really thinking a whole lot about animals, but that's very true. And they were obviously designed for that connection too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I notice a big difference just in the lifespan of the pets in the last 20 years.
Yes.
It's just not as long. They're more sickly. There's a lot more inflammation. There's issues with thyroid, with kidney disease, with cancers that I never heard of growing up.
I know all the things that we're seeing in people now we're seeing in
Yes,
animals. Yeah.
for sure. And yeah, another one is food.
Mhm.
That's another way that we can add grounding
Yes.
into our bodies that maybe some people don't even consider. But the
Mhm.
types of food that you're eating,
Right.
the organic food, the natural food, even the root vegetables specifically can add an extra grounding benefit to our system. Do you find that,
Yes,
Emily, too?
totally. And then
Yeah.
eating, of course, local and in season.
Yeah.
Even if you're able to bring your meal outside or to a sunny window to
Uh-huh.
kind of imprint that like local, like that light signature into your food, onto your skin while
Mm.
you're eating, I think is really powerful as well.
That's a great idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, totally. And then one of the other things that I really found that the book mentioned was talking about people with chronic infection.
Yes.
And when they've tried a lot of other things and, things weren't helping them, whether it be a treatment or whatever, and they weren't getting better,
Hmm.
just by going outside and connecting or using a grounding mat, that they were starting to see differences with the level of whether it be bacteria or whatever, fungus or whatever, that was being reduced
Hmm.
because, the inflammation starts going down, the immune system starts coming online and working the way that it should, and things are charged and working properly. The lymph is able to start clearing out some of those things. Have you noticed that too, maybe with some of your
Yeah.
clients?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And those
Mhm.
pictures are really cool that you're talking about in the book where he shows people, day one being grounded, day three, and then
Yeah.
a lot of it happened within weeks that infections and different things would clear. Yeah, that's something big I always tell my clients is like, okay, we're coming in to get the chiropractic tune-up, right? And I
Mhm.
think our bodies, like I said, as a battery or an antenna, if we have any of that static electricity or interference, then we'll
Mhm.
be like a clear channel, a clear vessel. And that's when different things can show up like dis-ease within our bodies. So that's a big piece. I always say chiropractic is one piece of the puzzle and it's not
Mhm.
all of it. These are the pieces that I tell people you can go home and do these things. Like go get your feet in the earth today. Make
Yeah.
sure you're drinking minerals and electrolytes, hydrate your cells, your tissues after we're doing some work together. Again, simple and typically
Mhm.
free or really affordable things that we can do. And I think it's good too, as we were just mentioning about the infection, how Clint showed us different pictures to even unpack like the science behind it a little bit.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll explain that to clients, other times not, depending on how we're keeping it simple. But I loved that he put it into really simple terms, just talking about how I feel like a lot of us have heard of the free radicals that are in our bodies, right? And the free radicals are they're like chaotic molecules trying to look for electrons to grab onto. And if they
Mhm.
don't have electrons flowing into the body, an abundance of these electrons, which we get from the earth,
Yeah.
it'll start pulling it from healthy tissues, from like lipids and proteins, and pulling it from all of these healthy cells to form a bond and
Right.
become more stable. So what that happens, there's like this cascade effect that starts to create that low grade inflammation. And if we never have those, bounty of electrons coming in our system, it's going to continue to just wreak havoc on just different tissues. And that's when I think we see those people who aren't healing from
Yeah.
those infections and illness. And I just love your story, like you shared in the beginning, where you kind of came at the crossroads, that juncture in your healing of continuing one path or with maybe a more medical practitioner route, or just going to the lake and healing yourself and putting your feet, like you said, on the sand, on the beach, on the earth, and that really shifted things around. I think that's just so powerful to remind ourselves that there is this like beautiful orchestrated chemistry going on in our bodies all the time without us even thinking about it. And there's such a simple way for us to help, for us to kind of help with that inflammation and healing and become that clear channel again so we can feel not only good, but we can feel vital, right? We all
Yes.
do that.
Yes. It's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things after I received the clarity and the guidance that I was looking for, my system started to feel calm and my endocrine system started coming back online where things were so chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first things that I really noticed in my physical body with a difference. I was on so much medication, for
Mm-hmm.
different hormones and T3 and T4 and cortisol and, to try to lower some of those things and adrenal supplements and I was on so much stuff just to be able to function and felt such a high level of stress in my system all the time. And that was one of the first things I noticed. Oh, I don't need that medication anymore. That has leveled out. This has come back online. This is working the way that it needs to. I don't feel that chronic stress like I needed all these supplements to help me with.
Yeah, amazing.
And to me, that is amazing. And what a gift to just be able to have that connection with the earth.
Yeah. So,
It is truly a gift
yeah.
and a free gift.
Right.
So take advantage of it today
Yeah.
and get your feet on the earth and spend some time outside, spend some time in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So many beneficial things that our bodies were designed to be able to connect with. And if you're missing it, if you're not feeling great, do something simple and beneficial and some self-care today and get outside.
Mm-hmm.
Go for a walk, connect to the earth, take a breath. Well, thank you, Emily, for chatting with me today. And um, I love connecting with you, and you bring such a light to this world and such an amazing chiropractor. And we
Mm-hmm.
love your insight. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm here. And yeah, like you said, go get your feet on the earth.
Yes,
You'll feel better.
absolutely. Okay. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.